Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. And today we're going to take a look at data science for business. And we're going to focus on, how data mining can unlock some real business value, especially if you're already familiar with relational databases.
Yeah, and, you may not be a data scientist, but grasping these principles can really help you evaluate those data mining projects and make more informed decisions.
For sure. And the preface of this book really stood out to me. It said that even if you never actually do any data mining yourself, just understanding its power can let you spot, flaws in proposals or those unrealistic claims about what data can magically solve.
Exactly. Like, think about it. If someone comes to you with a, fancy new customer segmentation system, wouldn't it be great to know if, their approach is sound or if they're just, overselling its capabilities?
Absolutely. And it feels like every industry is buzzing about data these days, not just tech companies. It seems like everyone is looking for that data-driven edge.
Yeah, and they should be, because data analytic thinking, it's becoming so crucial these days. It's all about recognizing opportunities where data can, help you solve problems or make better decisions, like in your field, for example. What are those recurring challenges that data could potentially address? What data do you already have that might be, an untapped gold mine?
Yeah, and a great example of that is the incredible Capital One example in the book. They went from, this small bank to this credit card giant by using data mining for targeted marketing.
It's a fantastic example of treating data as a strategic asset, not just, something you collect and store. They systematically experimented, analyzed the data to understand customer behavior, and then used those insights to refine their strategies.
Yeah, so they weren't just lucky. It was a data-driven approach. And the book lays out this process, they call it CRISP DM. It's kind of like a roadmap for these successful data mining projects.
Well, you can think of CRISP-DM as a cycle that you go through. It starts with business understanding, defining your goals and how data mining can help. Then comes data understanding, exploring, and getting to know your data. Next, you have data preparation, where you're cleaning and transforming the data to make it ready for analysis.
So it's like prepping all the ingredients before you start cooking.
Exactly, yeah. Then comes the exciting part, modeling, where we apply algorithms to uncover patterns and build those predictive models. But we don't stop there, right? We have evaluation, where we rigorously test how well our model works. And finally, there's deployment, where we actually put that model to use out there in the real world.
And it makes sense that it's a cycle. You learn, you adapt, and you continuously improve based on what the data is telling you. It's not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah, precisely. Data is dynamic, and so are, the challenges that you're trying to address.
Now, the book also talks about going from, a business problem to a specific data mining task. And that's where choosing between supervised and unsupervised learning comes in.
Right. So let's say you're trying to predict which of your current customers are likely to stop, doing business with you. That's known as customer churn. Well, that's a supervised learning problem because you have a specific target in mind. You're training a model to predict that outcome based on past data from customers who churned and those who stayed.
Okay, so it's like we're giving the model examples and showing it, what we're looking for.
Exactly. Now, imagine you want to understand your customer base better without, a specific goal in mind.
Yeah.
You could use unsupervised learning to group them based on, similarities in their purchasing behavior, demographics, or, other factors.
Okay, so with that, we could uncover hidden segments that we didn't even know existed, and that could lead to new marketing strategies or even product development opportunities.
Exactly, yeah.
That's fascinating. But the book also warns about something called overfitting. It's like when a model, memorizes the data instead of truly learning from it. So how do we avoid that?
So overfitting it's a common pitfall. Imagine a model that's been trained to predict customer churn, but only based on data from, a specific city. It might perform well on that data, but it might fail miserably when you try to apply it to customers in other regions. And that's overfitting. It's learned the quirks of that specific data set rather than the underlying patterns that generalize across, different contexts.
Right. So how do we make sure our models aren't just memorizing instead of, truly understanding?
Well, one key technique is cross-validation. Imagine splitting your data into multiple mini data sets. You train the model on one part and then you test it on another, and you just repeat this process with, different splits. This helps ensure that the model performs well across, different subsets of the data and that it's not just tuned to the peculiarities of a single sample.
Okay, so building these models, it seems like it involves some, pretty complex methods. The book talks about, tree induction, which uses this idea of information gain to make decisions. And it uses this great example about identifying poisonous mushrooms based on their characteristics.
Yeah, it's a great illustration. Imagine a flowchart where each decision splits the data based on a specific feature, like, the color of the mushroom cap or the presence of gills. The goal is to find the features that provide the most information gain, allowing you to classify the mushrooms accurately. And what's great about this technique is that the resulting model can be easily visualized and explained, even to someone who isn't a data scientist.
Yeah, it reminds me of those old choose your own adventure books where each decision leads you down a different path.
Exactly. And just like in those books with tree induction, you're guiding the model toward the most informative path for making predictions.
Okay, and the book also mentions fitting mathematical functions to the data, like linear and logistic regression. Can you explain those, in simple terms?
So think of it like finding the line that best fits a set of data points, on a graph. In linear regression, this line helps us predict a continuous variable like sales revenue based on, advertising spending. And logistic regression is similar, but it's used for predicting categorical outcomes, like whether a customer will click on an ad or not.
Okay.
And the challenge is to find the right balance. You want a model that fits the data well, but not so well that it starts memorizing the training data and fails to generalize to new data. It's like tailoring a suit. You want it to, fit snugly but not be too tight.
Okay. This is all so fascinating. The book talks about the idea of similarity and neighbors, and it uses the example of grouping whiskeys based on how similar their flavor profiles are.
That's a great way to think about it. We can use similarity measures to group things based on, how alike they are, whether it's, whiskeys, customers, or even documents. This is the foundation of recommendation systems like, those used by Netflix or Amazon to suggest, things you might like based on your past preferences.
So it's like finding your nearest neighbors in a vast sea of data.
Exactly. And this concept of similarity, it isn't just useful for recommendations. It can also be used for, data exploration, finding those hidden patterns and groupings within your data that you might not have noticed otherwise.
Okay, this has been an incredible, overview of some key data mining concepts. We've covered so much ground already, and I feel like we're just getting started. So what else is in store for us as we continue this deep dive?
Well, we've laid a great foundation, but now let's build on that by exploring how these techniques can be specifically applied to, relational databases, which, as you know, are the workhorses of many businesses today. And we'll see how data mining can help us extract valuable insights from, the wealth of information stored in those databases, helping us solve real-world business problems and make smarter decisions.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before we, delve into applying data mining to relational databases, let's just take a moment to clarify what they are for those, who might not be familiar.
Yeah, that's a good point. Not everyone is a database expert.
Right. So a relational database, it's like a set of neatly organized tables, each containing data about a specific entity like customers, products, or, orders. And the power really lies in how these tables are, connected or related to each other. For instance, a customer table might be linked to an orders table, allowing you to easily track which customers have placed which orders. Okay, so instead of having like all the information jumbled together, it's it's structured in a way that makes it easy to access and analyze.
Exactly. Now imagine applying the data mining techniques that we discussed earlier to this structured information. Suddenly, you have a powerful tool set for extracting valuable business insights.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how can we, use data mining on relational databases to tackle those real world, business challenges?
Okay, so let's take the example of customer churn, which we touched upon earlier. Imagine you're a telecom company with a relational database containing customer details, their call records, data usage, billing history, and so on. By applying data mining techniques to this data, you can build a model to predict which customers are most likely to, switch to a competitor.
So instead of just reacting when a customer leaves,
Yeah.
we could proactively identify those at risk and try to keep them.
Precisely. You could use those, the insights from the model to create, targeted retention campaigns, offering special deals or, addressing those specific issues that might be, driving them away.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly valuable. Any other examples of how, businesses are using data mining with relational databases?
Absolutely, yeah. Think about, targeted marketing. Let's say you're an e-commerce company with a relational database containing, customer purchase history, browsing behavior, product reviews, and demographic information. Data mining can help you segment your customer base into, meaningful groups based on shared characteristics.
So instead of, sending generic marketing blast to everyone, we could tailor our messages to, resonate with those specific groups.
Exactly. You might identify, a group of customers who consistently buy high-end electronics. Well, you could target them with, personalized recommendations for new gadgets or exclusive offers. Or you might discover a segment of price-sensitive shoppers who are, highly engaged with your social media content. You could reach them with promotions and deals that are, tailored to their preferences.
Yeah, it seems like the possibilities are endless. But I'm curious, how do these data mining techniques, actually work with the structured data in a relational database?
Okay, well, let's revisit tree induction. Imagine applying it to a database with customer information and a flag indicating, whether they churned or not. The algorithm could start by splitting the data based on, contract length, then perhaps on average monthly bill amount, creating branches that represent, different customer segments with varying churn probabilities.
So it's like creating a decision tree that guides us towards understanding the factors that influence, churn.
Exactly, and the tree structured nature of the model, it makes it easy to interpret and explain, to stakeholders. You can literally see the paths that lead to different churn outcomes.
Okay, and what about those mathematical functions we talked about earlier, like regression? How do they come into play with relational databases?
So let's say you're a bank wanting to predict the likelihood of a customer defaulting on a loan. You could apply a logistic regression to a database containing, customer financial information, credit history, and loan details. The model would learn the relationship between these variables and the outcome of default or no default, enabling you to assess the risk associated with each loan application.
So instead of relying solely on, gut feeling, we could use a data-driven model to make more informed lending decisions.
Precisely. And by incorporating, variables from various related tables in your database, you can build a more comprehensive and accurate model.
Okay, this all sounds, incredibly powerful, but with all this analysis, how can we be sure we're not just, finding random patterns or overfitting the data, especially when dealing with, complex relational databases?
Well, that's where the principles of sound data analysis come in. Just because we have access to, a lot of data doesn't mean that every pattern we find is, meaningful or generalizable. We need to be rigorous in our approach. We need to carefully select the relevant variables, clean and prepare the data, meticulously, and use robust validation techniques like cross-validation to ensure that our models are truly capturing those underlying patterns rather than just memorizing the data we fed them.
So it's not just about applying the techniques blindly. It's about being thoughtful and critical throughout the process.
Exactly, and that's where data analytic thinking really shines. It's about approaching data with a healthy dose of skepticism, being able to separate signal from noise, and drawing meaningful, actionable insights from that vast sea of information.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, exploring how data mining can be applied to these relational databases to unlock some real business value. And it's been fascinating to see how these techniques can be used to tackle challenges like customer churn and create more targeted marketing campaigns.
Yeah, and it's clear that businesses sitting on a wealth of data in their relational databases, they have this tremendous opportunity to gain a real competitive edge. But it's not just about having the data; it's about knowing how to extract meaningful insights from it.
You're right. Data without insights is just noise. So as we wrap up, let's focus on the key takeaways for our listener. What are the actionable steps they can take to harness the power of data mining in their own business?
Well, the first step is really to identify those key business questions that they want to answer. What are the most pressing challenges they face? Where could data-driven insights make a real difference?
Right. It could be anything from optimizing pricing strategies to improving operational efficiency to even developing new product offerings.
Exactly. Yeah.
And once they have those questions in mind, the next step would be to assess the data they already have. Do they have the information needed to answer those questions? Is it stored in a way that makes it accessible for analysis?
Right. And if not, what additional data might they need to collect? And it's crucial to remember that that data preparation is often the most time consuming, but it's a critical part of the process. Data cleansing, transformation, and integration are all essential to ensure the quality and reliability of the insights derived from the analysis.
Yeah, it's like preparing a gourmet meal. You can have the finest ingredients, but if you don't prep them properly, the dish won't turn out as expected.
Exactly. And once the data is prepped, it's time to select the appropriate data mining techniques, for the task at hand. We've discussed, several powerful methods from tree induction to regression, each with its own, strengths and limitations.
And it's important to remember that no single technique is a magic bullet. The key is to understand the problem, the data, and the available tools, and then just choose the approach that best fits the situation.
Right, and always keep in mind the importance of rigorous evaluation. We need to test our models thoroughly to ensure they're not just memorizing the data, but truly capturing those underlying patterns that can generalize to new situations.
It seems like data mining is not just a set of technical skills. It's almost like a way of thinking. A data-driven mindset that can transform businesses.
Absolutely, it's about being curious, asking the right questions, and seeking evidence-based answers. It's about embracing the power of data to make smarter decisions, improve efficiency, and gain that competitive edge.
So for our listener who's already familiar with relational databases, the key is to start thinking about how they can use the data they already have to unlock those valuable insights and drive their business forward.
Exactly. The data is there, waiting to tell its story. It's up to us to listen, to analyze, and to translate those insights into action.
Well, this deep dive has given us a lot to think about. The world of data mining is vast and constantly evolving, but armed with the knowledge and the right mindset, anyone can harness his power to make a real difference.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those data-driven questions. The answers might surprise you.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those data insights flowing.